Hello and welcome to LedgerCast. My name's Brian, here with Josh Olswich. Hey Josh, what's up?
Mr. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well. Excited to be back at it. We hadn't podcasted in a hot minute. I'm back in the country. I'm back at the computer station, and I'm ready to chat with you about the charts. Time to talk about the charts. Dixie's mooning. Bitcoin is wobbling at the highs. Nothing too concerning, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about all of it. This show's brought to you by nobody. Just kidding.
That surprised me.
Join the Flip Telegram, t.me/flipmetrics, and you can get access to flip.art. That's the website that I've built for my business. It's in private alpha. You can help us with that. It's pretty freaking cool. This is it. And we do actionable intelligence for NFTs.
I'm actually excited to talk about NFTs today because I think they're selling off. I think they're cratering, which is it's an amazing feeling.
An amazing feeling.
I can be like any of those bear people who are like, I'm finally right. I missed the entire run up, the 10,000% pump. I missed it all, but now I'm finally right.
Well, I'm very bullish on the future of NFTs as a format.
We'll get to that.
Art is just a way to look at it. It's just a playground for NFTs. But this is what we built, so y'all can check it out if you want. And to do so, all you have to do is go to the Telegram. But a lot more to come there. We'll do it another day. Just shield my own bags, you know what I mean? My podcast, my bags.
That's right. That's fair enough. I saw Beeple was on some late night talk show.
Yeah,
I saw Tarantino.
On Jimmy Fallon.
Tarantino talking about NFTs and stuff. We'll get to that later. But here's my question for you.
What's up?
Before you traded crypto, you were mainly equity stocks guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did the Dixie mean to you then? What does it mean to you now? Has that view changed at all?
I honestly didn't pay very much attention at all to any Forex, including the Dixie, when I analyzed stocks back then. So I would say the Dixie meant nothing to me until I got into crypto.
What about the VIX? Did that mean anything to you? I only ask you because I have no frame of reference for myself.
Not really. I don't think most people, until you like get so deep that you're quasi day trading or swing trading, when you're investing, I don't think you consider like the VIX or the Dixie. You consider potential for volatility within like singular stocks or the market, like consolidation and potential for breakouts. I didn't look at it in the sense of like, oh, the VIX is at 20 or the VIX is at 40. You know what I mean? But I think crypto forces you to pay such close attention that you start to pay more attention to those things. Or if you're like day trading stocks or something, you start to pay attention to those things. But yeah.
Because to me, the signals that I'm at least assuming, I don't know if they're accurate or not. I don't know if Dixie should be risk off. It's an index at 62% against the euro. Everything else is collapsing around the Dixie. Is that why we're rising, or is this a rates thing? We've talked about this before, but the technicals have been bullish on this thing forever, since at least January, right? It started to bottom out. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and it's just playing out. But it doesn't make sense to me with the inflation stuff going on. So I don't know what to think of it, really.
Yeah, I still think it's threatening to not range anymore in the like weekly sense to me. But I don't think, I think it's going to have a hard time over 96 for example, 96, 97, very hard. But I think by the time everybody's talking about inflation, it kind of makes sense for like the dollar to start doing something else. You know what I mean? But I'm basically in the camp that it's going to be a range trade for a long time. Like, I don't think the dollar is just going to become incredibly strong. And what we've been seeing too is that specifically the like dollar euro trade is even more difficult. Because the Dixie's a basket,
Right. I guess I need to look like what was inflation when Dixie was X, even though the Dixie wasn't really around until, I was looking at stagflation type stuff. And I don't know. I'm just trying to get some barometer. Like, I assume this is risk off, which is terrible for crypto. Gold and silver are mooning, which is not good for crypto, I don't think. Right?
Depends on how you look at it. Gold looks amazing.
To me, stocks still look fine. And I'm looking at all this other stuff because to me, crypto looks fine. And I just want to make sure, like, just taking the temperature in the room here. Is everything still on course? Is Tesla and Shiba Inu just going to collapse all markets everywhere? Is Evergrande matter? Like, does that matter anymore? It seems to matter. Do any of these ETFs things seem to matter? I don't know. There's just so much random stuff going on that I just like to focus on the technicals. I just like to hunker down and say, yeah, this is bullish. It's been bullish for a while, which is bad.
In a deserted island.
Yeah.
Gold weekly.
It's my favorite place, by the way. I hate people. Absolutely hate them.
Love deserted islands. The gold weekly is pretty much as good as you can ask for from a chart perspective.
Okay. Why is that?
Because it just looks like it had a very long consolidation after briefly reaching new all-time highs, rejecting the breakdown, and now preparing a breakout from that consolidation back above those highs. And 1900 to like whatever price expiration, 3K or something, seems guaranteed.
What seems guaranteed? A Peter Schiff tweet. That's what seems guaranteed.
I mean,
but yeah, it does look really good. We can be bullish with gold and BTC at the same time, right?
I think so. I don't see why not. Silver also looks really good. Copper monthly. Wow.
Copper. Who trades copper?
You laugh. So copper is very important for all the things that we're short, right? Like, so these silicon chips, electric cars. Copper is a very interesting commodity and energy play, while also being kind of a pro technology. Like, if you're bullish Tesla, you should also be bullish copper. Like Tesla as in number of cars they'll sell, not the valuation of Tesla. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a very large shortage globally, as Jack says in the chat just now. And it looks like it has had a 6-month consolidation at levels above its 2006, 2007, 2008 highs, which it then superseded briefly in 2011. And it looks like it's ready to go from like $4 to $6, $7, $8, something like that. All of this aligns well, in my mind, with secular inflation, not hyperinflation, but secular inflation, an inflationary trend, the commodities taking over their weight of the stock market index, as an example, over tech. I think those are the types of things that could happen. You're looking at a uranium chart right now. It's like been going crazy. Yeah, I'm very bullish in legacy land on things that have been underowned and are commodity based and preserve buying power. I think that's what people will be seeking, no matter what the Dixie is doing. I think that I like uranium. I like gold. I like oil to some degree. I like real estate. What was the other one that I said earlier today? Yeah, rare earths are a decent one, as Moniker says in the chat.
Real estate, really?
Yep. I have some reasons for that, for real estate. I can talk about them if you want.
Oil's got a multi-week bear div here, if we're just looking at stuff. Yeah, I'm curious.
Real quick on oil, since you brought it up. The thing that I find most interesting about oil is that it hit and cleared what I call my like long-term like median or mean mean line. Like, this is the center of oil profitability at $75. Like, long term, we have liked to use it as kind of a key, kind of a weird level, but a key level, right? I think essentially we're in the oil is greater than $75 for the foreseeable future type of range. Whether it goes to 100 or 140, I don't know, maybe. But I think the oil companies are going to be very profitable for a number of years. And so I like oil companies in that regard to be profitable. On the real estate side, I don't even have a chart to look at this, but I don't anticipate that the things that make up construction costs to go down in price significantly. So if you think of the energy, oil, and you think of the materials that are used in a home, you think of the labor costs that are used in a home, I don't expect any of those things to go down significantly. So I expect construction prices to remain relatively high. In my own analysis of building versus buying, I found that the build price is very high relative to the buy price. So even though the buy prices can have some sticker shock, when you then go compare it to say, I'm going to buy this house or I'm going to buy this building versus I'm going to build this house or build this building, the build price is significantly higher than the buy price when you consider you have to buy property and then build on top of it. You know what I mean? So like maybe in the like go to a piece of farmland and you build a whole bunch of houses, like 100 on very, very cheap property, but that has no premium of location. So I think when you consider the demand of premium location, I think it's a better deal to buy real estate in premium locations than it is to build on real estate in premium locations where you're essentially doing custom building. Because I think those numbers currently are out of whack where people are expecting the prices to build to go down and they are still not getting over the sticker shock of the prices of buying. And that's why we're seeing houses and buildings continuously be bought up anytime they're listed for sale. So I'm pretty bullish on the real estate market for sellers. That's
fair enough.
That's my philosophy. That's an unscientific model. That's my personal experience model.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'm all for it. Yeah. I was hoping to scoop up some cheap, liquidated housing, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, is it?
I don't either. So many people just bet on like, oh, well, real estate will get cheaper again after the pandemic or something like that. And I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, the reason we're talking about any of this stuff is because Bitcoin's big now. It's huge. What's the market cap? It's got to be
the global crypto market cap hit like 3 trillion, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't think people realize how crazy things get once you're in the conversation with everybody else. Once you're just one of the things that people go to, for good or bad, that's partially what I think we're seeing right now. I don't think individually this chart looks bearish at all. I don't think there's nothing I can point to. I don't even think there's a bear div here. I guess there's a tiny bear div, but it looks fine to me. It doesn't look overbought. It doesn't look out of whack. It doesn't look crazy euphoric. It doesn't look high on funding or OI. We can talk about that stuff as well.
The weekly worries me a little.
We can talk about OI being at all-time highs, but so is stablecoin issuance.
If we were to close the weekly today, it's the third time that essentially the mid 60Ks got sold into. And it just makes for a funky looking chart. Like the type of chart where it wouldn't surprise you if we went back down to like 48 and had this longer consolidation and failing an all-time high price exploration breakout is a little concerning. Doesn't really bother me in the long-term sense, but that weekly doesn't inspire confidence for me.
Well, let's say I'm completely got the Moon Boy hopium out right now, and I'm wrong. The 200's at 49. The Pitchfork is at 51.
Yep.
The cloud level is at 54.
And for what it's worth, I think that's what's going to happen if we dump. Like if we go down, I think it's the type of thing where 48 to 52 is very strong. Like just a lot of buyers in there for a whole bunch of technical and fundamental reasons. So I think you could get shaken out by this candle, but as long as you don't get liquidated going to 50K, then you're fine. You know what I mean?
I agree completely. So would it surprise me if we take a stab at 48? It wouldn't. Would I get wrecked if it did? Not really. Um, am I going to bet on it stabbing to 48 over just slowly grinding up? No, I don't think so. I'm not going to take any off. I'm not going to do anything. I'm happy with being wrong there because I think the upside is still so much higher than the risk reward is just better to just stay long, right? Until there's massive evidence to prove otherwise. Even on a what would it be, 15 to 20% drop, 15%, let's say.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can get a better entry for sure, but you can also be wrong, right? So everybody's different. Everybody has to do what's best for them. If you're hyper bearish here and you're wrong, where do you get in? Do you get in at all-time highs?
Probably.
I just don't know.
I agree with you. Like I'm a little concerned and I'm fully deployed. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Right.
I just think that here's what I wouldn't want to be in. I wouldn't want to be in stuff where I don't think I have a relative value or like the
100%. Yeah.
or like the strength of a major. Bitcoin and ETH, totally fine. And I'm totally fine bag holding them down 15%. If I'm in something that's up 1,000% or whatever, and like looks like it's teetering, those things, when Bitcoin goes down 15%, are going to go down 50%. I don't want to be in that.
Well, here's the other thing. If we start breaking 80, which is the midline, this for people who don't realize what this is on the background here, this is the MA multiplier, the 2-year MA multiplier. You can backtest it. It's amazing. Just check it out. Once we pass the midline on this thing, typically, which is currently 80K, it's a full send from there. It's literally been up only from there. You can look on every coin you can look again, backtest everything. I don't care. I'm not trying to create buy-in. I'm just saying like this is a strong indicator. So again, if you're not in by 80K, what do you do? Right?
Yeah, that's the tough.
And I'm not saying this is going to go straight up. I'm saying it's going to be, if it does break 80, it's going to be super strong.
Yeah. You know what? I wish we just followed the playbook I outlined before. Like we just kind of broke right up on all these things. Even, was it Solana? Like I talked about how Solana would look so healthy if it just consolidated for longer, and then it didn't. It had its breakout, and now it just looks weaker to me, and when everything goes together, there's no rotation, then the funds don't get to cycle into strength in a particular coin. You just you have to float everybody up together. And I think that's essentially what we got, and then it makes it a little dicier on the potential downside.
Yeah, to me, seeing Sol do what it did or whatever else is problematic because too many people get rich too quickly, and then they get too euphoric too quickly. They hold stuff they shouldn't be holding. They get way too gambly, and that's when
they go down the risk curve.
That's when we get into super big trouble because everybody gets liquidated at once.
Yeah. I mean, what this reminds me of is like it had 3 good days. All the other days look like distribution, and it was supposed to be this big consolidation, all-time high breakout with strength, but it just doesn't really present with that strength when it does the breakout.
But
a little too
look
early.
at the volume since the breakout though. Look at the 2017 ETH compared to this. 2017 ETH looked just like this. I'll pull it up, but
you're saying the volume's good?
The volume on Sol there looked fine to me.
Yeah.
My problem is the percentage that it's up in the year is problematic.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's gonna do away with the thesis. I just think if it would have gone all the way until like mid to late November before breaking out, it would have been better.
Because here we've talked about this before too, but this is that ETH 2017, and Sol is, for the most part, it's right here. And that to me is an excellent buy if you are bullish, right? My problem is just Sol's up 10,000%.
You see how ETH just kind of, it really made you question everything in that grind before it got to that breakout. Like it did have a long The one before that, like it did have that long consolidation post breakout, but there was a part there where, like Bitcoin was running through all that and ETH was just like coiling up, getting punished on a relative basis. And none of these people have been punished, like the majors have not made you hurt. And I think that would have made for a more profitable environment in the long run to create that rotation. And what we don't have now is a rotation that makes it obvious like where the best value is. It's just like the liquidity fracture that goes across hundreds of coins, everybody's favorite pet rock. And I think it would have been better if like something pulled ahead and like made itself known and said like, I am the one that you must follow now.
Well, ETH is holding at 1% inflation right now. Did you see the Ethereum Foundation sell a bunch of ETH?
I did
yesterday?
And apparently they've been really good at selling the top. That's based on just what somebody else researched, not me. But yes, also makes me a little nervous.
There was also a mega ETH claim on Bitfinex. This is long short ratio. So it's currently net short on Bitfinex for the first time since...
That's ETH?
Yeah, this is ETH USD.
Wow. It's
currently net short for the first time since, is that July 21? Yeah.
I don't really know how their claim system works, but it's very strange.
And if you look at this trader though, like historically they haven't done great. Like they're super risk averse, but they're never usually, I can't pull up the price for some reason. They've done and made excellent trades. It's just they let go at the weirdest times. I don't know. Yeah. So both of those together is a weird situation.
Warwick in the chat says it's Ponzi fork season, and that doesn't make me any more bullish either. Like, how many ohm forks are there going on right now? Like dozens in every single chain. So that's, and people have this risk tolerance to go out on those ledges, and they deserve to fall off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess my TLDW is just mixed signals everywhere. Lots of random stuff going on. And ultimately, if we drop and I'm wrong about being so bullish, there's nothing that I can point to in hindsight in the moment that's like, yeah, that should have been so obvious, Even ETH doesn't look completely euphoria overbought to me. There's like
not at all. I just think
there's a bull or a bear div here. Some people you could argue falling or rising wedge, whatever. But this doesn't look terrible to me. I don't know.
You know what I think might make it the most constructive is if there's like one of those liquidity events, like a leverage washout, and everything goes down 10-15% in like a day, and alts, the ones, especially the high flyers, go down like 30% or something like that, and then dominance kind of takes over from there. And I'm probably going to have to lump dominance to both BTC and ETH, let them run together, or preferably just one or the other. Like I think BTC would make the most sense, and then you can kind of create that rotation that I've desired. But it's like you can't just do it from it's been consolidating and now it breaks out. It's like you have to have pain in order to in order for it to occur and people to feel enough fear that they capitulate to something that's not so far down the risk curve.
Yeah, we need no free rides, right? For ETH. ETH has been a free ride, 100%. I mean, look at this thing.
Yeah, and look at ETH BTC. Like if anything, it looks like ETH BTC is going to break up. Like it broke down from the consolidation we already talked about. Broke down mildly, immediately recovered. Now it looks like it's just hammering at the roof there, ready to go bananas. But I don't know. I'm not bearish. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bearish. I just am trying to figure out how can we have a market event to set up for the best version of bullishness. My least favorite version of bullishness is like the float grind of everything, because you fracture your liquidity so much when you do that. We need Yeah, as Exponent 500 says, we need more people shaking out.
Here's the other thing about ETH. We haven't gotten to this like crazy parabolic stage yet. Like, yes, this is insane. It's up whatever percentage from just October, right? But we haven't seen what ETH loves to do, which is just go ham in the paint. You know, it's done it. It did it here. It did it here. We've yet to see just like a week straight of green candles, right?
Mm-hmm. That would be nice. Maybe it'll do it. Maybe that's what this consolidation in BTC is about. It's preparing itself to go to 0.1, the long awaited 0.1.
ETH has had no volume, just dead, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Coinbase dumped like 14% overnight after their earnings because volume was down so much, and they were like, I was like, just look at the chart. I told you that already. Why are you selling because of that? You should have known, smart earnings people. And Coinbase said like the reason their volume was down because the volatility was lower in the market, not because people weren't trading or something, or like not because people were like down on Coinbase. They just, people aren't trading sometimes. We're due for trading to occur again. I just wonder which way. I really do. There's a lot of top things out there that make me nervous, and I don't know. I just have this feeling like we're going to have a massive liquidity shakeout. And that's the only thing that would help establish dominance. And I would feel pain in it because like I was super duper Bitcoin maxi, but when I was seeing evidence to the contrary, like I did rotate some out into different things, and I've done well doing that. But now I'm like wondering, do I need to become a maxi again? You know, like just prepare for the shakeout. Like, you don't miss very much, for instance, if you put 25% of your crypto net worth in dollars, wait for the obvious shakeout. And if you miss it, you're still 75% exposed. But if it comes, you have 25% to buy the freaking dip with hard.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with people sitting any of this out up here at this point. But like you said, if you're sitting out, you have to be ready. You have to have a plan, right? You can't just like say, oh, now it looks bad today, I'm not going to get in. Because that's what so many people do. They're just like, you know, it went down. I knew it was going down, but I'm not going to buy here. No, sir, I'm going to wait. Again, it's your plan. It's your trade. I could care less what you do as an individual, not you, but the you at large.
Yeah, being all out is not what I'm advocating.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if two sides of the extreme, like if you're all out here, what do you do? If you're all in here, what do you do? If you're in the sliding scale in between, what are you going to do? Right? Like, are you ready for a 15% down move? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just saying a bunch of nothing over and over again, but 3777 is a great place based on the daily cloud for ETH. Based on that Kijun down there, this is starting to form a TKC clamp, which is a type of momentum slowing down signal when these two moving averages basically are spread apart like this. So would it surprise me? No. Again, am I going to position as such? Also, no. I just...
Seb says, what's the point in waiting for a dip? Something rude, and then said just long. I think the point in waiting for a dip is to maintain being in a position of control. Like if you're all in and unequipped to do anything in the case of downside, then you're just a passenger to the market. You're not able to be a part of the market, like to truly have control to do something in the turn of a market event that goes against you. Whereas if you have something on the sideline, whether that means being unleveraged but fully in with the capacity to partake in leverage, or whether it means having some dollars on the sideline, then you can choose the entry that's most appropriate to deploy your assets back into the things where you have higher upside. Now, whether you're doing your deleveraging on margin, or whether you're doing your deleveraging back into BTC from alts, or whether you're doing some other thing, wherever you feel like you're willing to maintain your risk tolerance and then do something with those funds when the answer is obvious, then that's a position of control and a position that I want to be in. My point looking at this market is there's not a lot of stuff where I look at it and I think like this is the clear winning play for me right now. And I certainly don't want to do it on some coin where it's just kind of floating on super low volume at someone else's 1000x.
Yeah, like Solana.
Like Solana. Or Phantom. It's another example.
People also get caught up on like perfecting the dip buy or perfecting the top sell in maybe 2 months from now. It's not even going to matter, because we're higher. And if you would have just held through it,
well, sure,
that you're fine, right?
But sometimes the whole point is just to maintain a better curve, like a better volatility curve in your net worth. Do you really want to buy this? Look at Phantom. Look at this. Do you really want this? Is this just are you looking at this and just thinking like, oh, what a financial opportunity I have in my life to buy this coin at $2.60 when this summer, just a few months ago, it was 15 cents. And a few months before that, it was 3 cents. No, I do not. I do not want to buy Phantom at $2.63.
Bro, you just don't get the opportunity here. What a major new paradigm it is going to be.
Yeah, moon soon. After it goes from 1 cent or 2 cents to $2.63, $3.40, 3 cents to $3.40 in 1 year, and you say moon soon. Where are we at right now?
I had a friend ask me about Shiba versus Doge, and I said what they did with Shiba, they can't do again with Doge. It's already at a quarter. You can't to pump it from 0 to a quarter is much easier to pumping it to a quarter to $25, right?
Yeah. My brother asked me if he should buy Shiba, and I was like, dude, no. And then I showed him the chart of where it was in January.
I think a lot of people got a lot of questions about Shiba because it was so insane. But just like GME and just like Doge,
look at that thing.
If you were semi paying attention to this, which I definitely wasn't, and this is all hindsight, but you call this Wyckoff accumulation, call it whatever you want. This stuff doesn't just explode out of nowhere. It usually has a multi-week, multi-month base before it does anything. It doesn't always do something, but
it could distribute in the same way. It can float for a very long time before it starts its long trek downwards. I am not interested in owning any of that crap, though. Not even a little bit.
I guess my point is technicals work regardless of what it is,
Yeah, absolutely.
ENS came out this week too, or last week, a couple days ago, whatever.
Yep.
I forget what day it is at this point. Do you have any comments on that?
I appreciate it.
You appreciate it?
Yeah, so there's probably some listeners that don't know what ENS is. It's the Ethereum name service. So you can own a .eth, like ledger status .eth, which I own. And depending on what you did participating with their protocol, meaning like you bought a .eth or something, and you registered it for X number of years, and then you used it, like registered as your primary domain, you got an airdrop. And they sent airdrops, and there's a little bit of controversy about it. There always is. But I got several of them, several airdrops, multiple wallets. Very happy. So, only in crypto can you get like a 5-figure airdrop or something, and then just kind of like be like, oh yeah, got another one. Cool. It's like it's better than all the stimulus is combined. But in crypto, it's just been the way people have been doing token distributions. You got one too, right?
Yeah, I did. I was kind of waiting. I thought about this earlier this week. For you, a question for you, like when are people going to start comparing it to GoDaddy or any other domain service, like market cap wise?
That's interesting. Yeah. Like GoDaddy has 20 million customers or something. So GoDaddy is pretty big. But yeah, it's very, very cool.
You don't think it's going to moon? You don't think it's the next new best thing?
I think it has a lot of utility value, and I think it could do quite well. It has done quite well. Do you have the price in front of you? Is that what you're looking
Yeah,
at?
it's at 55.
Yeah, I was
I
looking at.
just I have no opinion on it, so that's why I'm asking you and like devil's advocate sort of way. I assume all these airdrops are going to dump to zero, but look at 1 inch
No, I don't think so at all. I don't. I
did
think
fairly well.
ENS is very real. It's not like a dog coin airdrop.
Well, here's the thing: none of these airdrops have been in a bear market yet. None of them. Well, probably none of them. You know, since 2021 or since 2020, it's pretty much been fairly safe for the airdrop stuff
Mm-hmm.
because everything's been up, right? But when these things start dumping, do any of them survive?
Yeah, they survive. They probably just have worse downside than some other coins because everybody got them for free. Excuse me. So even when you're down, you can still be down more.
And people are talking about MetaMask and Paraswap airdrop potentially coming soon. I use Paraswap. I only know about it because we use it through Enzyme. It's another DEX aggregator. And then MetaMask, they've been talking about doing an airdrop for what, years, I feel like. Maybe not, but
Yeah, everybody's going to get paid off the MetaMask one. Like that's the real thing though is what what you always run into is what do they actually reward? So the ENS one didn't reward the number of domains you have. So I have a whole bunch of domains in one address, and that didn't matter whatsoever. It only mattered which one I had registered the longest and whether I had a primary domain set. What mattered ended up being how many different wallets you did it in. And I think that's what will happen in MetaMask as well. It's like the way you can diversify the best is do something in a lot of wallets. That's how I did it on 1inch too. I got the 1inch airdrop on like 10 wallets or something. So if you do stuff through a bunch of wallets, then it can be really rewarding. If you just do a whole bunch of stuff through one wallet, nobody's really rewarded that yet. I'm kind of surprised by it because it makes a lot more sense to me. Like if I'm using a dApp deeply, like I use Matcha all the time, so Matcha's not going to do an airdrop. But if Matcha did one, like I would want to be rewarded on the fact that I put like lots and lots of volume through Matcha, not because I used Matcha once through 10 or 100 different wallets. But so far,
right.
Most of these apps have just rewarded you on the fact that you've done it. So I would like to see it go the other way. Of course, I say win Matcha airdrop in the chat. That's what I said. There's not one. Just buy ZRX. Not that that's financial advice. I do own ZRX.
Yeah, but we did talk about preparing for airdrops. I don't know, maybe a year ago or more at this point, where you just shotgun a bunch of transactions through a bunch of different things and hope for the best eventually, you know?
Yeah, we talked about a ton of them.
It's a pain now because fees are so high. So
yeah, now you're doing,
there's a risk reward there, right? Because you could just never get paid out for anything you do.
You could easily spend 10 grand using all the different apps that you can think of that might have an airdrop on Ethereum because of how many transactions it would take. So your risk reward is certainly like maybe these airdrops would be worth 100K for my 10 grand, but like the downside is zero. You know, like you don't get airdrops from anything that you do.
Right. So you gotta be careful with that.
And I think the best way to do it is to use like different things when you need to do something anyway, you know, but if you have an alternate route through something that might have an airdrop, then it's worth doing it. Like if you're going to make a trade and you're going to make a trade on Matcha or Uniswap or whatever, like sure, go do a trade on Paraswap and then maybe you'll get the Paraswap airdrop. But if you're going to make the trade anyway, go make the trade.
Right. I mean, me personally, I'm not going to go out of my way to sort through 10 different wallets to do whatever. Even the DYDX, right? That's another way you can get burned is if it's geofenced or whatever. Who the hell knows these days what people do or are afraid of doing for regulatory reasons, but that burned a lot of people who were counting on that airdrop.
I wasn't counting on it, but I did exactly that. I airdrop farmed with only one wallet, but as kind of just in case DYDX does it, I went and used DYDX, opened a margin trade with real money, real collateral, but I did it on their V1 and I did it without masking my IP address, so I didn't get it. It's like, because I used their product too early and I'm an American. It was like a double whammy of not getting it. So that was the risk reward on the negative side. I think that's a scam, right? That's ridiculous. If you're going to reward
Yeah,
people for using your product, you should just reward people.
that was kind of bizarre.
Yep.
What else is going on this week? I was shocked that ENS did an airdrop. I had no idea that was even coming, but cool.
Yeah, I didn't actually think of them as being a significant airdrop candidate, but it works for me. Who doesn't like airdrops? I only claimed one of them, and I haven't sold a single ENS from anywhere. I feel like I did learn that lesson from 1inch. Like, I sold a bunch of 1inch pretty quick. That was right at the end of last year. And I ended up selling most of them before the end of the year, and I should have just held it and waited until it mooned. So,
well, 1inch was like released at the perfect time, literally pre Mega Uber Ultra DeFi pump. The timing couldn't be better from a price perspective. Couldn't be worse from a tax perspective, but couldn't be better from a price perspective.
Yeah, for sure. This, like, I'm not even claiming my yield stuff right now. I don't need any more taxable events this year. I'm trying to be pretty careful about how I trade. So if I have stuff staking, I'm not even claiming. Yeah, I'm not claiming my ENS on most of my wallets. I only did on my Ledger Satisfied ETH one. And that was.
It doesn't matter though, right?
No.
It's just when you get the airdrop is when you get taxed, right?
No, I don't think so. I think you get taxed when you claim and sell.
I didn't think it mattered.
I don't. No. Because then you'd be taxed at whatever value it was on first trade. That could literally be anything completely out of your control. Yeah, taxed when you claim is what I think makes sense as well. Baked bean, bro.
No, see, there's what makes sense and what's actually like the tax shit that's going on. I disagree. Right?
Tax people don't know anything, so you just have to figure out what you think makes sense, and then that's your best effort if they try to audit you.
Again, I'm on your side, but I don't think that's how it works.
Well, I think there's some things we know and some things we don't. Like, one of the things we know is if you sell BTC for ETH in an BTC ETH pair swap, the tax man's going to treat that as selling BTC to USD. You'll be taxed on that transaction, and you have a new cost basis of ETH USD at the same time of that transaction. So even though you went pair to pair direct, the tax man's going to treat that as one in a good old America. That's something that we know, and that you owe taxes on your things you've earned in that time period. Things where it gets a little dicier is like how to claim some of the other stuff, and airdrops being one of the most confusing amongst them.
Yeah, just let my tax guy figure it out for the best.
Yeah. My 2 cents is you probably are taxed when you claim and then take either the gain or the loss when you sell. So like,
well, they did this experiment. They give a bunch of senators a bunch of random airdrops and say, see, this is what we can do to you and ruin you financially if we give everybody these airdrops like this. And that's how it's treated in the tax code. I don't know. Don't quote me on anything legal. I'm not a lawyer, obviously.
Planet Street said, do we have recommendations for crypto tax software? There's several out there. The simplest one is, if you don't do a lot of stuff, is probably like Bitcoin tax. They do more than Bitcoin. Coinly is pretty good from my audits of like trying to use different services and see how they do out of the gates. That's Coinly with a K. And then Token Tax is probably the one that makes the most sense, especially if you are looking for like a service aside it. You can pay like $2,500. They're probably going to increase that because everybody will pay $2,500 for the VIP service for their stuff, and they'll like actually help you get it to a reportable view, whereas the others are like automated. So all of those are good ones that I would be willing to say. There are some that I've used where I was very unhappy with what the outcome of them was. In terms of they were just, the data integrity was not good.
I'll say this about taxes. Doing your crypto taxes is like staging cancer. You need multiple opinions. So definitely, if something seems out of whack somewhere, I would talk to a person about it. I would use software myself. This is just what I did personally, just to make sure that you're not messing anything up.
Yep. I use multiple pieces of software to cross-check what each of them thinks. And then I compare that to my net worth at the beginning of the year and my net worth at the end of the year inside crypto, and I do kind of a stupid test on it. So if you say, oh, well, I made $100,000 this year, it should be telling me I owe 40,000 or something like that, you know, and the software should kind of line up with that. And then I take all that information to my accountant and I say, have fun. No, I'm not kidding. No, just kidding. I usually make those decisions myself. And then I work with my accountant on the best way to present it. Like, especially, and Coinly and TokenTax do a good job of this. Like what it considers income versus a capital gain versus a loss versus identifying your expenses. Another thing that's really hard is resolving your withdrawals and deposits and assigning those cost basis accurately. So if you have one BTC on FTX and then you move that one BTC to your wallet and then it's like 0.999 BTC, then sometimes the software will not realize that it's the same coins and it will not count your cost basis appropriately because it'll be like, oh, look, you just earned 0.999 Bitcoin. And that's one of the biggest things where it'll screw it up. So you gotta figure all that stuff out. It can be a real pain in the butt. Hire someone, pay them a lot of money, get help. How's that?
I agree. I want to talk about this relative setup real quick on a lot of these ETH pairs. Now, again, not investment advice. I only want you to at me if it ends up working out. Okay, so don't at me if I'm wrong.
This looks like Litecoin back in the day. When
it does kind of look like.
Remember like LTC, BTC dying, and then finally Supermoon?
Yeah, so this is Uni ETH, and it is quickly headed to all-time lows.
Mm-hmm. It's going to join.
So again, as long as you've got a plan, as long as you're aware, because the problem with most of trading is just, especially crypto, there's so many different things to trade.
Yeah.
As long as you know what to look for me, that's half the battle. I can hit the buttons, I can add risk, blah, blah, blah. It's just like seeing it ahead of time, right? If I see the freight train coming, I know to get out of the way or call for help or whatever. But to me, this looks like a decent setup for ETH rotation. Like if I'm looking to take profit on ETH, if let's say ETH gets a mega volume, goes to 6K, let's just let's plan it out. If it goes to 6K, what am I going to do? Am I going to go to USD or am I going to go to Uni or some other, rotation? I think the smart play is going to be rotating some of that into stuff like Uni or.
Look at Aave. I just rotated the screen to it. It's literally the same thing, except for already at the lows. I was looking at this the other day. I have a small position in Aave, and I'm basically just waiting for it to flip this. Or like getting a really severe close under and take my lump.
Now, is it easy to be correct about the ETH pump and wrong about the rotation? Absolutely. So I wouldn't go like tripling down your risk or anything if you're actually going to do that, but it's definitely a strategy. And yeah, Aave looks absolutely.
It's crazy, man.
End times against ETH.
Remember when we talked about running the fibs? It ran the fibs and then died forever. Like,
yeah,
I love Aave. Is such a great product. Guess what it means? Absolutely nothing.
Nope. It doesn't mean a thing against the technicals that look like this.
Look at all this. I've done all this drawing on Aave's different pairs, like just trying to figure out when stop dying, sir. And it's just like, how about DeFi bear market forever? Laughs.
Yeah, if you want to,
the voice of the Jin Spartan.
If you want to LARP as a Zcash holder, just look at some of these DeFi pairs against ETH.
Yeah.
Except make it a multi-year cycle of down.
Yep.
Yeah, even Maker ETH, like everything looks absolutely to the core, all-time lows.
ETH's monetary policy is eating all the ETH dApps. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Plus fees make you not want to actually transact on any of this stuff.
Yeah. So what's that mean about what's going to happen with ENS? Because even using their app, you have to spend it's like, oh, look, you can buy an ENS domain for $4 and then also have a $400 transaction to do it. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, ETH fees have got to come down. The problem with the ETH devs is they're so focused on pumpamentals. Because it was the easier thing to do. It was easier to pass EIP 1559 and get it implemented than it was to like get proof of stake hammered down and implemented. At least that's my view on it.
Yeah.
So now everybody's celebrating, right? But the reality is the ETH ecosystem is suffering because the fees are still insanely high. And it's a good problem. Probably a solvable problem, but they got to get there.
Speaking of Zcash, can we bring up a chart that began its life back in 2017? The arm on old Zuko over here is getting very long. I'm not gonna lie. I think Zcash is kind of bottoming.
Well, 2 weeks ago, you told us to buy Shiba, and that worked out well. So I'm just going to go ahead and ignore that call.
I said I was considering it.
I'm just going to ignore that call. Here's my thing. It's like the Tezos problem.
Hold on a second. Can we just observe February 2021 to August 2021, Bittrex just does not have a Zcash BTC chart. like it's just gone. I don't understand what happened there. Nobody cares to fix it. Maybe no one even looks at it. But I still have my old Zuko Gumby Bacon Head and Shoulders thing from 2017 on there. So, wow, what a chart! That's art. Okay, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say my problem is the same with Tezos. Tezos doesn't have a history of ever like having a mega breakout. Zcash is the complete opposite of that in a bad way, in that it's only been down only the entire time. So to expect any life ever is just counter the 5-year trend. It's just like, okay, that's pure hopium. Absolutely pure hopium. I don't know. There's just so many better things to even have your attention on than this absolute garbage of a trash fire dumpster heap.
This chart looks pretty good, though.
On what? The daily dollar pair?
I don't know. Exponent said Ledger's going to rotate into Zeke after the stream. I'm not saying I'm not, but I don't know.
There are so many charts that look like this that I shouldn't even say this, but have better fundamentals than Zcash. There's so many DeFi charts. BNT looks better than this. And at the very least, it's DeFi or DeFi adjacent or a DEX, Uni USD looks very similar to that. Ish. Why does that look so different than everything else? Hold on.
Oy. God, that Uni. What is that?
Uni's curling down.
Weekly.
All right. It doesn't look like Uni, but.
Uni looks bad. That looks bad. That's so droopy.
Yeah, it's having a tough time there, isn't it? Especially, I don't like that triple toppy thing. I don't know. I would not touch Zcash. That is financial advice.
Yeah. You know what I still do like? I still like Curve. I still like Curve.
Good. I thought you were going to say ZRX. Curve looks fine.
Curve also has a lot of interesting stuff going on. They had an emergency DAO vote because someone was scamming and they used Convex and Curve to do something crazy. I don't know. There's some questions about governance and how that's been used, but Curve looks like a proper breakout, retest, room for upside type of play to me. And people are realizing how good Curve is in terms of a product for very tight quality liquidity. And more importantly, I'm earning incredible yield on this, and even if it goes sideways, I just don't care. I think I've just gotten complacent, Josh.
The complacent tour?
Maybe. But I still like the Curve BTC chart.
Yeah, it doesn't look completely terrible. I don't know. I don't think there's anything this week, as I sit here right now, that's like screaming a buy to me or screaming a sell. FTT at a bullish TK cross above the cloud. A few people were talking about that in the chat. Prices in the cloud now. I don't know. There's nothing that's like ready for Mega Moon in the moment.
Yeah. Everything's just kind of waiting.
It's kind of blah. Just like the weather outside right now. Just rainy, blah. Just blah.
I
guess we're waiting for Thanksgiving.
Are you in or out? You're in.
In or out of what? Dude, I am.
You're in.
I'm 100% in. If we dump more than 15%, you can at me on Twitter and laugh with laughing gifs.
Can I show you a bad chart?
Besides Zcash? Because we already saw that one.
It's the other one you mentioned. Tezos. Remember we talked about you're going to make me buy Tezos?
I'm still holding that, by the way. I'm staking that and holding it.
Boy.
It's at 10K. It is what it is. I don't care. I stuck to my guns. If this thing's going up, it's going up with me, It's 10K. It's whatever. But yeah, it was a terrible buy so far.
I mean, this is the worst failed breakout. Like, it's so crap. It's just like all the bag holders were like, $8 Tezos, here you go. Thank you very much for finally taking my poor bag. I mean, it's just weeks.
That's another way of saying what I said earlier, that when a coin like this doesn't have a history of ever having like a serious run up, there are just too many people that are excited to sell at any high.
You just have bag holders. I thought their NFT thing was going to be strong enough, but like, man, look at this. I think I sold the top or close to it. And it's just been, it's not like, choppy down. It's just down. This is like world's fastest roller coaster type velocity.
Look at CryptoPunks against ETH. I bet it looks the same,
I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know if you saw the news about the Tezos NFT platform that just like disappeared overnight.
The hick neck tunk one or whatever that was.
Sure.
No, I didn't realize it disappeared.
I think that's what happened, right? The chat might know, but I saw somebody tweet about something and then the Twitter was down. Okay. Is it down or is it nuked? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, it's not a good look, obviously, if you're riding high on the NFT fumes and it just disappears. That's not a good look.
Their Twitter said it was discontinued. Hicket nuke. It's the worst name exchange ever. It's exactly what I'd expect on Tezos. No, I think the NFT stuff on Tezos was pretty interesting, but yeah, they've spun up mirror sites. I did hear that.
Is there a CryptoPunks ticker? Maybe we should close with this because I love.
There's
dunking on.
Yeah, there's a Punks NFTX.
Really?
USDT.
What do you know the ticker though?
Punks.
No, it's not on TradingView. Anyway, my problem with NFTs isn't that they aren't cool. It's that too many people got rich way too quick. Too many free rides. Too many people are still insanely hyped about it. There's like all these people just blowing money everywhere on all these parties and bullshit. Like, I'm not angry at them. It's just, eventually the market's going to market.
The market's going to market.
Market's going to market.
Yeah,
I saw Alex Weiss announcing he was trying to sell all of his NFTs. Like, oh, here we go.
Poor
here we
guy's
go.
Down bad. Yeah, there's a Punk. There's a Punk NFTX index, but I can't find the chart for actually looking at that, so that's unfortunate.
What website could probably do something like that?
Flip.art.
Yeah, there you go.
Made a note of it.
Write that down. Josh's ideas, best ideas. Underline best, and then write them down.
Floor is Punk Basic, but I need to be able to chart Punk Basic. Punk Basic. Yeah. My sites that I used to use to look at on-chain charts are all sucking. Another thing I'm going to have to add to my list of things to build because other people suck at it.
I saw Top Shots was down a lot too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know.
Are floors on punks that bad? Let's see. The floor is 75 ETH, so it's down a little bit. But the floor has been, yeah, it's down about 25%. It was at 100 not too long ago. And then ETH has gone up, so I'm sure it's, punks are down on a relative basis pretty decently, but not terrible. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Somebody might have come through for us. Here's the punk ETH. That's liquidity and volume and...
Yeah, it's so hard to gauge because to me it's just all illiquid, owned by 10 people.
10 people? Oh, come on.
Half of them are never going to ever be in the market again.
That's not right.
Okay, 20 people. Fine. That's all I got for today.
I'm glad.
Just a whole lot of meh. Whole lot of meh with the side of...
We didn't record for 2 weeks, and then we come back, and we're just like, eh.
I mean, what are you going to say? We're in price discovery. We're at all-time highs. We're not going anywhere. There's no volume. It's fine if you're bearish. I'm not bearish. You know, I have nothing else to say.
We need a breakout.
We just need... we need Thanksgiving. We need Thanksgiving families to get together, talk about crypto.
You know, it's going to be bigger family talk at Thanksgiving this year than in 2017.
I honestly agree because,
like, this time people's family members actually got rich. Like,
yeah.
Last time they were like, "Oh, I've made money," but like this time, some people made a lot of money.
Yeah, especially on NFTs.
No, I think it's going to be panic for NFTs personally. They may be bottoming. There are a lot of bottom things in the market today in NFTs, but I think that people look at ETH and BTC and Solana, and you still could get some interesting year-end stuff. But I think the New Year bear market for NFTs got front ran. Like people sold early, so maybe they'll bottom on a relative basis before the end of the year.
My opinion's invalid because I was never in to begin with. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna rescind my what is it? Recuse myself.
Recuse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that over the family conversations when people start talking about crypto. I recuse myself from this conversation. Everybody knows where I stand. I don't want to talk about it. It's good to see you. We'll talk again next week. Thanks for being here, chat. We'll be here for an after show. Go to letterstatus.com. Catch the replays. Subscribe on YouTube, audio, wherever you like to do it. Thanks for being here. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Monuments crumble in the blink of an eye. The easy river has just run dry. In a house of cards, I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe.